In this video tutorial, I'm going to show how you can use the Advice Options and Reasons library to manage the selectable options that show in the steps of the various wizard sections found within the report builder. When building a report for a client, you can easily add an advice option to a step of a wizard section on the fly from within the actual step. However, you will find additional functionality to further manage the selectable options of a particular step within the Advice Options and Reasons library. The Advice Options and Reasons library is accessed from the Customization dashboard. To view the options of a particular step, first select the section, and any steps within that section containing selectable advice options will be displayed in the step drop-down to the side. Let's say I wish to make some changes to the advice options that show within the key disadvantages and tax implications step of my account. I select the step, and the advice options contained within that step are then displayed underneath. You'll notice that the custom option I added from within the step shows as an uncategorized advice option at the bottom of the page and is colored green to indicate that it's owned by you and saved in your library. Having added a custom option on the fly from within the step, you may, at a later date, need to edit its wording or update its category. This can be done from within the Advice Options and Reasons library. Just click on the edit pencil, make the updates, and click Save. In much the same way as you do in the actual step, you can also add a custom option to a step from within the Advice Options and Reasons library by clicking Add Advice Option. Because this step has categories, you can also, should you wish to, add the option to a category. If you don't select a category, then the option will be included within the uncategorized category at the bottom of the page, just like the custom option I added earlier. However, if you do apply a category, the custom option will be added at the bottom of the category and color-coded green to indicate that it is owned by you. You can't create your own categories in a step, but there is always the option of Other if none of the standard categories are quite right. Having added a custom option to their library, account admins of multi-user company plans can also share it with the other users within their account. As a result, the other users will now see it in the corresponding step in their account and, when appropriate, be able to select it when writing their reports. To share a custom option, click the Share checkbox. You will notice that the color changes to orange to indicate it is now owned by the company. Once an option is shared, it can't be unshared. However, it can be deleted or hidden should it no longer be required. It could also be the case that some of the standard advice options in some of the steps aren't relevant to you or the advice service your company provides, and therefore you may want to hide them. When you hide an option, this removes it from the step in the wizard section of the report builder. This helps tailor the list of selectable options in the step to reflect your preferences and also makes the list of options more manageable for you and your users when creating your reports. As an example, let's say your company doesn't advise on mortgages or long-term care planning. It would therefore make sense for you to hide all the mortgage and long-term care-related advice options in the client objectives step of the introduction section, as you're never going to use them. It will also help to make what is already a pretty long list of options slightly more manageable. To hide a particular option, simply uncheck the corresponding Show checkbox like so. And having hidden those advice options, if I now pop into the actual step in the introduction section, you can see that those options no longer show in the list. Another feature of the Advice Options and Reasons library is the ability to configure your account, so certain options in certain steps are pre-selected. At this point, it is important to highlight that a suitability report should always be personalized to a client, and assuming you do not wish to fall foul of the regulator, you shouldn't rely on a bunch of standard statements that frequently remain unchanged to justify your recommendations. However, there are clearly going to be instances when some of the reasons why you are recommending a particular provider or type of investment will frequently be the same for most clients. For example, every time you recommend a stocks and shares ISA, you may find yourself always selecting the same core options in the Y product type step of the new investment recommendation section. Therefore, it would make sense to have them pre-selected, which you can do like so. By pre-selecting these advice reasons here, they will already be selected whenever you, or your users, Visit the Y product type step for a stocks and shares ISA in the new investment recommendation section, thereby saving a bit of time, as you won't have to select them each time you build a report. It is also worth highlighting that even when an option is pre-selected, you can still easily deselect it if it's not relevant for a particular report, like so. Finally, it is also worth bearing in mind that certain steps, such as the Other Solutions step in the new investment recommendation section, have both advice options and advice reasons. These steps work in much the same way as a standard advice option step. They just have 2 layers of options rather than 1. To view and manage the advice reasons of an advice option, just click the corresponding View Advice Reasons link. That concludes this video tutorial on the Advice Options and Reasons library. I hope it's proved useful.